The man appeared on camera at 2:17 a.m. The problem was, he had never been there. At least, that's what everyone believed. The footage came from a small apartment building on the outskirts of Minneapolis. Nothing unusual ever happened there. Most nights, the security guard spent his shift watching empty hallways, checking doors, and waiting for the sunrise. On October 14th, that routine ended. Shortly after 3 in the morning, the guard noticed a man walking through the third-floor corridor. He wore a dark jacket. His hands were in his pockets. His pace was calm. Nothing about him seemed suspicious. The problem was that nobody recognized him. The building only had 24 residents. The guard knew every face. This wasn't one of them. At first, he assumed the man was a guest. The footage was saved. The following morning, management reviewed it. Nobody could identify him. Residents were asked. Nobody recognized him. The incident was forgotten until the next night. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the same man appeared again. Same jacket, same pace, same hallway. The footage looked almost identical. Management assumed it was a coincidence. Then it happened again and again. 5 nights in a row, always 2:17 a.m., always the same corridor, always the same man. What made the situation stranger was that no camera ever recorded him entering the building. The lobby cameras never captured him. The parking lot cameras never captured him. The exterior cameras never captured him. The first time he appeared was always on the 3rd floor, and the last time he appeared was always near apartment 312. After that, he simply vanished from every camera. The footage became an obsession. Management reviewed weeks of recordings. Nothing. Only those few minutes. Every night. At exactly 2:17. Eventually, they contacted the police. Detectives examined the recordings and enhanced several frames. A face emerged. Not perfectly, but clearly enough to identify. A few days later, they found a match. The man was real. His name was Daniel Mercer, 37 years old, accountant. No criminal record. No connection to the building. No connection to any resident. No connection to the neighborhood. Detectives visited his home. Daniel answered the door. He was surprised to see them, even more surprised when they showed him the footage. According to the officers present, Daniel stared at the screen for several seconds without speaking. Then he asked a question. "What building is that?" The detectives explained. Daniel shook his head. He had never been there. In fact, he lived nearly 200 miles away. At first, investigators assumed he was lying. But then they checked. Credit card transactions, phone records, work schedules, security footage from his office. Everything placed him in another city during the nights he supposedly appeared on camera. The case should have ended there. Instead, it became stranger. Daniel agreed to help. For several nights, detectives monitored his location. They tracked his phone. They tracked his vehicle. They knew exactly where he was. At 2:17 a.m. on the 6th night, Daniel was sitting inside his apartment watching television. Several officers were present. Nobody lost sight of him. At 2:17 a.m., the apartment building's security cameras recorded him walking down the third-floor hallway. The footage was undeniable. The timestamp was correct. The image was clear. Yet Daniel was sitting 200 miles away. Investigators spent months searching for an explanation. A look-alike, a technical malfunction, manipulated footage. Nothing fit. The recordings were authentic. The timestamps matched. The camera system showed no signs of tampering. By that point, some residents had become frightened. Apartment 312 attracted the most attention. That was where the man always stopped, not entered. Stopped. Every recording showed the same thing. Daniel would walk down the hallway, pause outside apartment 312, stand perfectly still for several seconds, then continue forward. The residents inside the apartment were interviewed. An elderly couple. Neither recognized him. Neither had ever spoken to him. Neither understood why he kept appearing outside their door. Then a new detail was discovered. One that investigators had somehow missed. During the 7th recording, Daniel didn't continue walking. Instead, he stopped outside apartment 312 and slowly turned toward the camera. The footage was enlarged, frame by frame. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then someone noticed his eyes. He wasn't looking down the hallway. He wasn't looking at the apartment. He was looking directly into the camera. That alone was unsettling. But it wasn't the worst part. His lips were moving. The original footage had no audio, yet several investigators became convinced he was speaking. The video was enhanced repeatedly. Experts attempted to reconstruct the movement. Most of the results were useless. Until one analyst produced a version that everyone agreed looked plausible. The reconstructed phrase contained 4 words. 4 simple words. According to the report, Daniel appeared to say, "You finally noticed me." Nobody knew what it meant. The footage spread among investigators. Theories followed. None explained why a man could appear on camera while being physically somewhere else. The recordings eventually stopped. After the 7th night, Daniel never appeared again. The hallway returned to normal. Apartment 312 remained occupied. No further incidents were reported. Years later, the case remains unresolved. The footage still exists. The reports still exist. And nobody has ever produced a convincing explanation. A man appeared on camera 7 nights in a row. He never entered the building. He never left the building. And according to every piece of evidence investigators could find, he was never there at all.